the next 30 years, the world will need to produce an equivalent amount of food that has been produced in the last 3,000 years.
If you go to the rural areas today and ask somebody, are you employed? He says, no, I am a farmer. So somebody is doing farming, he's still looking for a job, as if farming is not a job. So we have to make our agriculture a gainful undertaking, an undertaking that people can depend on for their livelihoods.
In many ways, 2014 is a landmark year for Africans. In recent times, many countries have enjoyed encouraging economic growth. However, food and nutrition shortages, as well as unemployment, especially in rural areas, are still among the many challenges facing the continent. So what progress is being made? And what steps are Africans taking to create a sustainable future for themselves and for their children? Join us as we delve into the workings of an ambitious and powerful collaborative program already in motion that right now is shifting into higher gear to finally rid the continent of the crippling scourge of poverty and food insecurity. Agricultural development in Africa is vital to eradicating hunger and creating wealth. According to the World Bank, economic growth from agriculture reduces poverty by twice as much as any other industry. The Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, or CAADP, was established to achieve agriculture-led development on the African continent. CAADP is entirely African-led and African-owned and represents African leaders' collective vision for agriculture in Africa. To realize their vision, the leaders agreed to increase public investment in agriculture by a minimum of 10% of their national budgets and to raise agricultural productivity by at least 6%.
The CAADP framework, with its targets of 6% increased productivity and 10% of national budget allocation, really did help countries to think in a very structured way what are the areas that they need to emphasize in their agricultural policies and what types of investments they need to put in place or implement to support the implementation of those policies, with the key objectives of increasing agricultural productivity and improving food and nutrition security of our people.
Durban in South Africa was the venue for CAADP's 2014 Partnership Platform meeting. This is the first year following the 10th anniversary of the program's launch in Maputo, Mozambique in 2003. Significantly, the African Union has called 2014 the Year of Food Security, setting the tone for CAADP's sustained momentum into the next decade.
This 10th CAADP is being held in a landmark year for the African Union, which is celebrating at the same time 10 years of CAADP and the Year of African Agriculture and Food Security.
We have, as we speak, over 48, almost 50 countries that are formally engaging in CAADP implementation. And by formally, I mean that they have gone most of the times into a cabinet decision to begin to implement the CAADP as a policy framework for agriculture development. Out of that 50, there are 40 that have signed up on a country compact. And this is a CAADP compact, which is a very significant milestone in the process of embracing CAADP implementation.
From noble ideals and humble beginnings in Mozambique, CAADP has come a long way since 2003. It has changed our way of thinking about how we do business in agricultural strategy development and execution. In the last decade, it has yielded concrete results, real value, and verifiable outcomes in institutional and policy reforms, as well as in human and organizational development.
When you look back before 10 years and now, Africa has clearly defined an agenda. And that is significant because when you look at national level, you look at community, you look at regional level, continental level, Africa is beginning to be very assertive, to be very clear on what is the continent's agenda on agriculture development. This is important for Africa itself, it's important for its Africa collaboration into regional and international efforts. And we have seen actually progressively over these last 10 years, increasing effort, increasing attention to enhance the systems, to strengthen the capacity on planning for development, planning for results.
So at the NEPAD Business Foundation, the NBF, we are pretty excited with the partnership with the NEPAD agency and particularly the CAADP program. The objective is to see how you can get agriculture moving across the continent.
After a slow start initially, the West African country of Burkina Faso has taken some decisive steps towards internalizing the CAADP reform approach in recent years. Evidence-based analysis by trained local experts has encouraged greater acceptance of the process by partners in agriculture, thus enabling more productive collaboration.
C'est ainsi que lorsque vous regardez, de 2006 à 2013, nous avons noté un accroissement de la dépense publique, la dépense publique au secteur agricole d'environ 13%. En termes de budget, nous avons noté un accroissement d'environ 14%, ce qui est extrêmement important. Et cela a permis vraiment d'arriver aux investissements que je venais de signaler, notamment dans le domaine de la maîtrise de l'eau, de l'attribution, de la facilitation de l'accès aux intrants.
By pooling their resources and working together in cooperatives, smallholder rice farmers in Burkina Faso can now capitalize on economies of scale, as well as the more productive use of equipment and infrastructure. Expert advice from government extension services significantly improve production methods of crop yields.
Man equal mam so kwa tiam chenne siata be ti wiligra be ne ti fo me gete dikren chang ru pour wan to tumne.
Rice is a major food staple and a mainstay for the rural population and their food security. If Africans could adopt the farming knowledge and technology currently in use in China and Indonesia, it is estimated that rice production could triple.
Association ya kakwara sulli mu kwara basna ta ko mu bata puso ba mandugul sulli na ta ko mu ya mu ko ba hantar fanga yinga labso ngobni masindama to fukur mu ya asan koran ko sre.
Access to credit facilities has been virtually non-existent for smallholder farmers in the past. Without funds for vital production inputs, farmers are almost sure to fail.
Au Burkina Faso, nous avons particulièrement noté vraiment une meilleure coordination des bailleurs de fonds depuis la mise en œuvre du PDDA, du Programme national du secteur rural. Ici, ils ont un cadre de concertation qui se tient régulièrement et ils ont même un chef de file, des bailleurs de fonds de développement rural, qui entretient régulièrement le dialogue avec le gouvernement.
In the East African country of Tanzania, the National Agricultural and Food Security Investment Plan is now more focused on production and commercialization. This strategy includes transferring technology and subsidized inputs to smallholders, as well as encouraging public-private partnerships.
We encourage our private sector to be involved in the supply of inputs to farmers, seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides.
In recent years, the advent of free enterprise has opened the door for ambitious entrepreneurs in Tanzania. This local trader of seed and fertilizer in the southern highland city of Iringa has found his niche in the region's agriculture value chain.
Lakini baada ya kufanya utafiti nikagundua ya kwamba biashara ya pembejeo za kilimo ndio biashara nzuri kwa sababu ni biashara endelevu ambayo kilimo kipo kila wakati na kila msimu, hivyo ikanipelekea kushawishika kuanza hii biashara na kutazama namna biashara inavyopatikana. Tukaona kwamba kuna fursa ya makampuni yanayotuletea pembejeo.
The ever-increasing demand for basic farming necessities is a sure sign of healthy growth in the local agricultural sector.
Kampuni ya Yala, kampuni ambayo imekuwa ikitupa mafunzo kuhusiana na aina ya pembejeo na namna ya matumizi. Hicho ndicho kinachotupelekea sisi kuwa pia walimu wa wakulima wetu au wateja wetu.
Improved irrigation technology and infrastructure has opened up new avenues of income generation for rural communities in the southern highlands of Tanzania. Although the soil and climate are suitable for year-round production of various crops, farmers have been hampered by unpredictable rainfall and long dry spells. The highly successful Iringa irrigation scheme has dramatically increased farmers' income potential and ensures year-round food security.
Agriculture first. Everything can wait, but not agriculture.
Increased levels of education in agriculture, especially through hands-on knowledge and skills transfer at farm level, are essential in achieving CAADP's human capacity development goals.
There's always been a gap between policy and implementation. And in terms of this process of policy formulation, we would want to see the voices of the intended beneficiaries, mostly smallholder farmers and women and youth, being catered for in the policy guidelines.
Agriculture is the leading sector in the Tanzanian economy and accounts for more than a quarter of the country's gross domestic product. With its Kilima Kwanza, or Agriculture First program, Tanzania is determined to encourage new farmers, increase smallholder incomes, improve nutrition, and expand markets through agricultural innovation and commercialization.
CAADP, le PDDA, a contribué à l'augmentation de la productivité dans certaines filières agricoles, telles que la filière riz, où nous avons des pays comme le Sénégal, comme le Bénin, comme le Burkina Faso, qui ont multiplié par 2 la production de riz dans ces pays. Si on prend aussi certaines filières telles que la filière maïs, des pays comme le Ghana, comme le Rwanda, ont multiplié par 2 ou 3 leur production en matière de maïs.
In line with the CAADP target, The southern African country of Malawi has been spending roughly 10% of its annual budget on agriculture and food security since 2003. Although it has a strong focus on maize self-sufficiency through input subsidies, Malawi's investment plan for agriculture also focuses on reducing post-harvest crop losses, along with a sustainable agriculture and water management program.
I think the main issue for us with this investment program that we have in the agriculture sector, we have managed within the span of this CAADP program to move the national yield of maize on average from 1.7 to 2.5. We have almost doubled. So there's been a general improvement in terms of yield because of greater adoption of technologies, better uses of new varieties of maize, and the application of fertilizer.
As is often the case in life, the success of increased yields is tempered by the emergence of new challenges.
In some countries we have increased production of agricultural produce. However, we are seeing a lot of this production going to waste. So there's 40% of post-harvest loss in the continent.
Post-harvest losses occur on the farm during storage, when the grain is incorrectly stored for own consumption, or while the farmer awaits a selling opportunity or a rise in prices. Grain banks can be used to store grain within a community to ensure availability during times of shortage.
Pofika chaka chinocho ngati 2013 2014 ndi pamenenso gululira tinasungamo chimanga chochuluka mabag 6,000 bags achimanga. Tinasungamonso mtedza ochuluka ndithu okwana mabagi almost 600 chakuti. Tinaliso ndi soya ochuluka mabagiso almost 70 ngati agulu. Tinalimonso ndi nyemba za gulu zochulukilamonso ndithu. Mwachidule mene ndingalifotokoze gululi ndi menemo.
So the challenges that we'll be having now is farmers aligning themselves with the market. That's the one which we'll be also working on very hard, so that farmers know where they're going to sell before they produce. Rather than producing, then later on is when they should be looking for the market.
An effective way to transfer knowledge, skills and relevant technology in rural settings is achieved by farmer field schools. These accessible training sessions help smallholders to overcome production problems and to create more opportunities.
The farmers come in through farm field schools. There is a platform where there is a lead farmer and other farmers, where farmers come to learn new techniques and new technologies that come in. These technologies come in from maybe the Department of Agriculture Research, come in from other departments, and these programs are showcased at these farm field schools.
Ine dzina langa ndine Sinclair Msenga, ndimakhala kuno kwa Chigonti, section ya Chigonti. Ndine lead farmer mlangizi wa kumudzi. Ineyo ofupi anthu amene anditsatira mulangizi umenewu ndi anthu 75, mamembala 75, akazi 40, amuna 35.
In Malawi, more 3/4 of them are smallholder farmers. And those smallholder farmers, especially the women, they're always on the ground. And what we are doing is to try to see what capacity can we bring in terms of new investment options. What are the